For nostril breathing, there's a lot of margin for finesse and locating ourselves very precisely in the head. So let's just work with one or two ways right now. Feeling the nostril space in thirds is I think a really great, easy way to get us into some territory. So if, for example, we have a third of our nasal space that's closest to our lip, and if we have a third of our nasal space that's closest to our environment in the nose surface, and of course there's a middle third, I want you to follow the nasal third, the third of your nasal space that's closest to the environment inside your nose. You can generally follow the nasal cavity, getting yourself under and behind the eyes. And then you can always just step in a little bit deeper from there. These are just to get started. These are things that you can play with in your meditation over days and weeks. Okay? But just to get us started. And now shifting breathing into the more middle third of your nostril space. Be very light at the back of the head. Have the head lightly atop the spine. And it may just take a little bit of wrangling and focus to start to feel a different area of your nostril and to just stay with it long enough to feel how this enhances feeling or sensitivity in anywhere in the body. And finally, the third of the nostril space that's closest to the lip, so the more interior. So these are great ways to adjust our breathing when we're meaning or intending to access some areas in our body and we're kind of meeting some resistance, or right. This is a really sweet way to shift our breathing without resorting to force, just increasing efforts. So let's straighten out the legs. Oops, let's straighten out a leg, the left leg. We'll bend the right knee. Use the leg to increase a sense of verticality in your trunk as you inhale. You just pull the legs, you like cobra, lift and broaden the chest upward. And then exhale, fold. And if we're working Marachasana, we can draw this right arm around the shin. And reaching through the inner left foot. So engaging the inner left leg. Release. We'll switch sides. And just using the leg to increase verticality. Inhale. Grow the chest upward. There you go. And then exhale. Gather this left arm around the left shin. Involve the inner right leg. Starting to deepen breath so the ribs and the tissues get movement, nutrients. So in one sense, from a physical vantage point, the degree of movement that we're introducing to our structure, our physical body, is a nutrient. And our breathing it's a physical mover. All right, let's lie back. We'll bring the feet off the ground. And I know there might be some of us doing variations here, but I'll talk through elbow to knee. And as usual, if you're employing variations, we're just having some guided time together. Inhale the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Send the elbows toward the sky, opening up that upper back as if just like a moment ago in that Marachasana. And then shifting the tailbone, which is a low belly move. Exhale, reach out through the left leg. You reach through the forefoot, you can reach through the midfoot, you can reach through the heel, all to different effect. Draw the low belly down. Inhale, left knee bends, back over pelvis. Curling tailbone, exhale, right leg out reaches. You can reach through the forefoot, the midfoot, the heel. Pull low belly down. All right, inhale, bend right knee. Let's continue. Do two each side where you're reaching through the forefoot. Do two each side where you're reaching through the midfoot. And do two each side where you're reaching through the heel. You have plenty of time. So when we select to feel, to sense, it's helping land us in our body. We could be focusing on anything. We could be focusing anywhere in the room, in the world. And our practice revolves mainly around our individual body, or our individual body as a portal to broader and deeper, even more universal, a cosmic sensing, but our individual body must be known. It must become a deeply loved, known home base. If it's not comfortable to return to feeling our guts, the likelihood of us feeling with our guts, feeling from our guts, is reduced. If it's not comfortable situating in the heart, locating it, sensing it, then the likelihood of us coming from the heart, living in the heart, returning to the heart, that likelihood is lessened. And comfort can be really a beautifully neutral experience. It may not be thrills, and it might be ecstatic. Just unreasonable contentment. Unreasonable okayness. We'll take any of those. All right. Looks like we're finished up. I want to do strata lifting through. And I think I can show you this if you needed to see it. So strata lifting through, we'll set the legs up and set them apart. And there's a couple of ways that you can use a wall. So I find the butt and the backs of the legs against a wall an okay variety if you needed wall support. What I find even nicer, even if it's a little harder to find in your home, is a corner with two parts of wall access. So again, I just want to show it because it's just a nice way to work with wall support. I think for me the corner is much nicer for a lot of things for me than the flat wall surface. So I just want to show it to you in case it springs some creativity in your practice. All right, straddle lifting through, here we go. Inhale, the head and the shoulders off the ground. And then exhale, the tailbone shifts. And reaching out through legs, supported, or maybe they're just freestyling in the air. Draw the low belly down. Inhale, relaxing the tail down. And exhale. Draw low belly down. All right, let's do about 6 more. We'll do those independently yet together. So at your own pace, taking yourself through 6 more, straddle lifting through. So we're working with the straddle. Breathe through the third of your nostril space that's closest to your lip, that's closest to your face. And find out if that helps. Each breath register as contacting the pelvis. All right. So, various stages of doneness. I think we're fairly well done. So what I'd like to do is set up dolphin at the wall with wall support. Let me describe first. Dolphin will be putting one leg up the wall as a support. So if you have that wall space, great. Go ahead and set up there. If you don't have the wall space, it's perfectly fine. Wall support is optional here, but it's nice. And I'll just begin talking in and we'll all get organized. So starting off, dolphin setup. And when we press up, you may have to do a couple of checks. The heels can skim the wall. I like a little heel touch. Further, you start to feel the middle of the heel touching the wall. And if not the midline of the heel, just get a sense of what parts of your heel touch the wall. Is it the outer part of the heel, the inner part? I will remain right here. The heels will lightly skim. If you feel too jammed up, just reset, re-enter. There we go. Thank you. All right. So our feet are on the ground at this point. It's not dolphin inversion. We've just got the feet on the ground touching the wall. Yeah, make it easy for yourself at first. Or warm up the shoulders to go upside down. Okay. So if you do have wall support, then we're taking the right foot, raising it up to the wall surface, and partially touching the wall, partially letting the wall support the leg. So we're taking the right leg up. Now here's something I do like. The wall touch allows me, I guess, a bit more finesse in feeling where pelvis is in space. I don't think it's unusual for us to raise a leg away from the ground, and then our perception of pelvis kind of changes in that sometimes one hip will start to swing this way or drop that way. Just getting a sense of our body in space. That left foot that's on the ground, right on the midline of that foot. Using the inner left leg, and find the groin. Now with this wall touch, you can you can bring in a little touch squeeze to help you find both inner legs. So it's just a little tweeze of the floor and the wall. And then you're reaching the sit bones back. There you go. Yeah. So you might find that supportive. Let's switch sides. We'll bring the right foot down to the ground, skimming the wall. And we'll raise the left foot. So again, the wall is just here to provide a little feedback. You can create that inner leg tweeze. And it might just give you enough different sensory stimulus to start feeling some different alignments, some different abdominals, some different areas of the groin. When we have our leg in the air, which we often do, there's not a lot of reflective surfaces, if you will. There's not a lot that we can, there's not a lot of reference points except within our own body. All right, and then we'll set that left foot down to the ground. We'll set the knees down. And when we stand, arrange your mat wherever you want to continue working. It doesn't have to be by the wall. We're going to get into some various chest opening moves. So we'll step into a warrior two stance, right foot forward. We'll prop our right forearm on the leg. And we'll raise this left hand about a foot or two away from our thigh. So the angle of the left arm allows me to reach and therefore open or lengthen around the top of the left shoulder. So once we get here, maybe we try a little bit adjusting our breath. Just feel what happens breathing into that middle third of our nostril space. With all of these thirds, with all these little adjustments in our nasal space, I'm saying nostril space to delineate from the nasal cavity, that larger vestibule inside of our head. Okay? They're related. Okay? But I just wanted to distinguish a little bit. And so feeling that middle space of the nostril as you're breathing in and through it, does that help you support sensing the chest, the shoulder, the lung, the heart area? Okay. Now raising this left arm. So now we're going to get more into a chest opening move. Spread the hand bones. Reach the left arm not only up, but back. Up and back. All right, lowering down. Inhale, palm the ground or a block if you need more altitude. Interlock. Exhale, reach the left arm behind back. Reach the right arm under thigh. And it's perfectly fine to just place the backs of your knuckles against the back of your butt. So the interlock, sometimes when we start to grab a strap and grab our hands, we introduce more turns through the forearm and the elbow. And it might actually feel better on some occasions to just leave the hands open and use the knuckles against the rear and the back, just as a light spinal traction, getting into the chest. Release. Inhale, set the hands down under shoulders. Exhaling, lower belly to earth. Right. So now we are taking the hands to our butt, but palm to butt. Finding the bottom of the sit bone, the bottom of the butt, the sit bone area. Let the fingers kind of plug in and let the butt muscles kind of respond back. Inhale. Pulling with the hands to lift the chest forward. I say forward and rather than up. Exhale, lengthen the chest forward. That's to encourage sensing more space in the chest instead of bend of the spine. So inhale, we're going to lift the chest forward. Help us develop that ability and that sense to breathe into the uppermost parts of the ribs. Give yourself one more breath as you inhale, lift the chest forward, breathing to the top of the sternum, the collarbone. And exhaling, lower down. We'll take another breath here. Inhale, hands under chest. Exhaling, downward dog. Follow your breathing cadence. Follow your breathing cadence and wait for your next inhale to step your left foot forward for neck and shoulder, or shoulder and chest. Even if you're stepping a breath or two ahead of us, behind us, I would rather you do that and be listening to your breath cadence than to suddenly cut your breath short in order to follow what we're doing. I'm not sure what those long-term effects are when we just stop our breathing, but just from an aesthetic point of view, I don't love it, the feeling of it in my body. As we're hovering our right hand over our thigh, I'm just asking the question today, these little shifts within our nostril space, does it help us gain access within the larger body? Okay, chest opener, inhale, raise the right hand more vertically. And exhaling, reaching back. I would involve that right leg so the reaching back can move through the ribs and the spine. If my right leg's kind of loosey-goosey, do you notice the reach back is just the arm? It's just the arm kind of pulling back around the ribs. I'll say it again. As I involve that right leg, the heel, reaching through the heel, involving the butt, lengthening out that right leg, the reaching back gets more support. It can occur through the spine and the ribs turning into that space behind me. If my leg's not involved, it's just like it feels like a disconnected arm move. But eventually we're trying to make all of these moves whole body moves. All of these breaths, whole body breaths. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's work that interlock. Inhale, bring the right hand down. Palm the floor. And then exhale, right hand behind back. Left arm under thigh. And with or without clasp, there's a lot of nice shoulder options here. Got our left foot forward. It's okay to be a little physical with the breath, and I don't mean forceful, but it's okay to stay with the physicality of the breath to start to get some of those ribs moving, to start to feel in and under those organs on the left side of your torso. It's okay to physically work with the breath until these ribs start to move and the rib muscles work and the lungs fill more completely and empty more thoroughly. Release. Inhale, we'll set the hands down. Exhaling the left foot back, lowering belly to earth. We'll do both. Interlace the hands. If you prefer the other version, hands to bottom of butt, go right ahead. Shift the tailbone toward the ground. Inhale into the abdomen, which supports the low back, which lifts the chest forward. Exhaling, reaching the legs back. Send the knuckles back. We'll give it 2 more breaths here. And release. Inhale into your abdomen and low back as we slide our hands under our chest. Exhale, pressing back eventually to downward dog. So if you're a little fragile, feeling in the back, you can always press to your knees and then press the knees off the ground. 3 deep breaths. Feeling the weight of the head and the neck, relaxing. Feeling the legs lift, drifting those sit bones away from your skull bones. All right. So we can do just a couple more things here. Inhale the right foot forward, warrior 2, chest opener. This one, interlacing the hands behind the back. Exhaling, deepen into stance, shifting the tailbone down. So if our aim is to feel this chest space more thoroughly and more deeply, how will you breathe? Is it more helpful to you to breathe into the outer third and the middle third of the nostril? So just experiments. But if our aim is to make this interiority friendly, comfortable, able to be seen in full light, known, not just displayed, not, right? We need to express, but we also need that experience. Releasing the hands, inhale, we'll straighten right leg for triangle. Adjust your foot, your stance. Exhaling, right hand reach forward. And we'll set that hand down. Good, now reach that left arm, reach. Let that reach of arm start to draw the chest open. You might feel that through the abdomen or the solar plexus or the ribs, but lift with that left arm. Like we're lifting the chest away from the right foot. Press with the legs. Lengthen the chest forward. Inhaling, heel toe your left foot toward your right. We're coming up to standing for a standing twist. So our right hand grabs our right foot. This is another place where it can be very nice to use a wall. And for today, I would actually recommend, if you wanted to face the wall, put your foot to the wall, and then work the arms freely, opening your chest to your left. Hint, lots of inner left foot, lots of inner left leg to make that whole body turn to the left. Lots of counterbalance, counter torsion. I'm making up words, but a lot of inner left leg to allow that turn to your left. And this is one that I like to ensure my left foot, the ground foot, is under my pelvis, facing the wall, so there's no funny twists in the knee. Make sure your left foot is under your pelvis, facing the wall. I'm getting really adamant on those points. Yes. It's hard. There's elements harder, but it's fine. The inner leg is a major supporter, and it connects really deeply into the knee. We can't just bleed that support off just to turn our foot out. It's too good. It's too important. Turn that left foot to face the wall, or face the direction of your right foot. There you go. Just like so. Yeah, use those inner legs. All right, to release, inhale, unwind, bend that wall knee, set that foot down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Chest opener. Inhale, left foot forward, warrior two. Collect the hands behind the back, interlacing. And then exhaling, reaching the knuckles down. Align the back of skull over the back of pelvis. Good, deepen breath. So breath is also a physical movement nutrient for your rib joints, for your muscles, for your shoulder joints. Your physical breath is a nutrient to the fluids of your body. Breathe deeply. So you are physically moving the organs. Okay, when we release the hands, inhale. I think we're going directly into triangle. We'll adjust the feet, straightening the left leg. And then exhaling, coming into triangle. Left hand reach forward, left ribs reach forward. And that right foot is turned in somewhat. This allows you to kind of grab the ground and spiral that reach. It's kind of a snuggling up, an active snuggling up of all of that leg, those leg lines, as you reach that heel into the earth. So that activity, that activation of that right leg will help you feel into the abdomen, into the pelvic abdominal area. You may even try breathing through the nose differently to feel that interiority as your leg is working that exteriority, that physical exterior. All right. So we're coming up to standing. Inhale, bending the left knee, heel toe the right foot forward. And this is that standing alternate twist. We're now putting the left foot up. Okay. And reaching, turning our chest to the right. If you're using a wall, right foot, toes point at the wall, and the left foot just place in that same direction to the wall. It's very easy to let that right foot turn out. Keep it somewhat wall facing. The right foot is under the pelvis. The right foot is facing forward or facing the wall. Okay. And that way, we don't even have to concern ourselves with touching the foot if we don't want. Just open up the arms. You got plenty of balance there, and reach, turning through the spine, through the ribs. That right leg will support you as long as we don't bleed off all of that wonderful supportive activation and tension in the right leg. How would we bleed it off? We'd duck our foot out. We would, right, so turn the foot in. There we go. Yeah, and work those lines. There's arm lines. Stretch those arms out. There's leg lines. Involve. Just subtly tweeze those inner legs toward each other. There you go. We did a lot of lunges yesterday. Those very same lunge lines. We're kind of knitting, tweezing them toward one another, activating. Kind of kneading them toward the midline. There you go. And you get taller. All right, bending the left knee. Inhale, we'll set that left foot down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Gently set knees down. We'll take Shavasana. So one of the things I hoped was to give us just a very broad opening and access to these main main areas of the body space. So as you're resting, we'll take 2 or 3 breaths, just sensing the third of the nostril space, closest to the lip, closest to the face. And just feel where that lights up in your body, if there's any predominant sensing or quality. And take a couple of breaths into the middle space of your nostril. Notice if there's any areas in your body that light up, that feel more prominently featured. Or if there's a quality that just starts to shine through more so. And then breathing into the third of the nostril that is closest to the outermost nose tip. So this is the area that's closest to the bridge of the nose. And find out if that gives you a little more sensory richness for the headspace. As we attune to various areas in the body, and today we just selected the head, the heart, and the pelvis, approximately, we can attune to consciousness's variety of qualities. It's like the many flavors of consciousness. They read and they play and they express differently through our entire body, which might be the selling point for why we would want to access and feel and come from and move and speak from our whole body. And lastly, breathe into the entire nostril space as if to brighten up, to lighten up the entire head, heart, and pelvic space of the body. When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side and press to seated. All right. I hope you're all well. Namaste.